is 7:07 in the morning time on this Friday morning, September 18th, 2020. It's time now for the Peter Channel Water News on this Friday morning, September 18th, 2020. Good morning, y'all. This lovely Friday morning, September 18th, 2020. It is 7:07 a.m. and it's 62 degrees in Norton, Massachusetts. Top stories on the Peter Channel Water News at 7:07 on this Friday morning is Joe Biden says if President Trump acted sooner on coronavirus, all the people would still be alive. Postmaster Louis DeJoy reassures state officials about voting by mail. CDC virus testing guidelines was posted against scientists' objections. Rain may help fight wildfires in Oregon, but may bring other problems. More than 35,000 mail-in ballots were rejected for the primary. Bipartisan negotiations over spending bill are not finished yet, but moving in the right direction. Tony Fauci would bet an effective and safe coronavirus vaccine by November or December. Seth Meyers exposed that Trump forbidden coronavirus deaths in blue states. Louisville Metro Council passes voted no confidence against mayor over handling a Breonna Taylor case. Harvard leads the university rankings of the best colleges in America. And Alaska Dale, who extracted a patient tooth on hoverboards, sentenced to 12 years in jail. Israel prepares to celebrate the year's holiest days under lockdown. Europe is fighting a second wave of a coronavirus pandemic. Coronavirus tighter national rules considered for England by government. Poison and Melania plots is returned, but Russia is opposition activists wonder who might be next. A disturbance over the Gulf of Mexico that meanwhile has been moderated for over a week developed in tropical temperature 22 on Thursday. City may approach New England and London, Canada as a hurricane. Seoul files $4 million claim against controversial pastor over COVID-19 spread. Pandemic tops 30 million cases and WHO awards a serious situation in Europe. With just 46 days left until the 2020 presidential election, and as the states already have begun voting by mail, a method that's been around for decades and will play a much greater role for this year due to COVID-19. Louisville to pay $17 million penalty for 2015 listeria outbreak. European lawmakers vote to sanction Belarus president. Vaccine manufacturers have ramped up production of the 2020-2021 flu shot during the COVID-19 pandemic, with the 2,000 viruses expected to overlap this winter, experts told UPI. Norton and North Attleboro reported a good, healthy start to school. Attleboro reports big surplus. Money will help cover budget shortfalls from pandemic. Police chase says to be possibly involved in a Brooklyn shooting. At least 2 people were taken into custody as of 9:45 p.m. on Thursday in connection with the pursuit. Taunton parents dispute that teacher acted quickly to end virtual class with. Local synagogues adapt for Jewish holidays amid pandemic. In Boston, firefighters are battling a 4-alarm blaze in Boston that spread to 2 adjacent buildings and garage of the vehicle. The fire started at 4:40 a.m. at a multi-family home at 24 Fairmont Street in the city's Dorchester neighborhood. The radio reports that the home collapsed as the fire tore throughout the building. Boston Fire Commissioner Chuck Simpson said the real portions were fully involved in the collapse. There was a large amount of fire in a closed area. The flames spread to 2026 Fairmont Street and a garage at 28 Fairmont Street. Fire officials said we are department got sprinkled with satellite gunshot. Resident Chris Hendrickson said it was just the windows. Pfizer vaccine trial bets on early win against coronavirus. Document show. Analysts estimate 50% of TikTok users will be the first time voters as details emerge from negotiations. Moderna shares COVID-19 vaccine trial movement, and Pfizer follows. As Moderna elect to seek limited emergency use of COVID-19 vaccine based on early data. Look at it, stocks now. Up, down 130.40 at 27.901.98. S&P 500 down 28.48 at 33.57.01. And Nasdaq down 140.19 at 10.10.28. SpaceX delays Starlink launches. Oh, should not match a drone chip upgrades. Rare blue moon to light up night sky Halloween 2020. Maine CDC investigate COVID-19 outbreak at Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. Coronavirus may increase premature births, studies suggest. Peter Channel News Time is 7:13. Time now for sports report. The Boston Celtics are down 2 games to none in the Eastern Conference Final 6 in a 106-101 loss to the Miami Heat in Orlando. And the Boston Red Sox over the Miami Marlins 5-3. And tonight, the Sox and the New York Yankees go out at Fenway Park at 7:35 p.m. MD Thriller Nets OT winner said selected to settle the Cup final versus Stars. Kobe Covington believes Tyron Woodley will ask to avoid face-off with him at UFC Vegas 11 press conference. Peter told News Time, 7:13. Time now for a traffic and transit check. On the MBTA, looking good on the subway system, commuter rail. Worcester Line train 7506, 6:22 a.m. from Worcester is operating 50-25 minutes basket between Worcester South Station due to a mechanical issue. And the ferries are looking good. Okay, look at the highways and byways in New England. Newport Bridge on the westbound side, a little bit slow. 95 in the southbound side, so on 128 in Canton. 7 Expressway northbound side, a little bit slow on Dorchester Stretch. Route 3 to southbound side, so on 128 out of Burlington. Route 2 eastbound side, a little slow. Route 111 in Acton, Central Mass, highways are looking good. 291 northbound side, a little slow to the Mass Bank out in Springfield. Route 25 in the northbound side, a little slow. 111 in Monroe, Connecticut. Route 25 in the southbound side, a little slow to Bear Parkway in Trumbull, and 95 in the southbound side of the Bridgeport. 89 southbound side, Little Soul Island, the border, New Hampshire. 91 southbound side, little bit slow on upstate Vermont. And 95 northbound side, little slow on Lincoln, Maine. Peter Chill News Time is 7:15. Time now for weather report. Take a look at the radar shows like Butterbear, the rain, Denmark, Cape Cod, and Nantucket, and Martha's Vineyard. Okay, looking at the tropics. Tropical pressure 2235 mile per hour. Winds, minimum sun pressure 1,005 millibars, located 22.9 at the top. 94.1 in the west, moving northeast at 6 miles an hour. Tropical pressure 22 is expected to turn to a tropical storm, possibly a hurricane, while moving slowly over the western Gulf of Mexico during the next few days. While it's too early to determine what areas could be see direct wind, storm surge, and rainfall impacts from the system interest, but the western Gulf of Mexico should monitor the progress of the system and future updates in the forecast. Service number 1 as of 2 a.m. Showers and thunderstorms have situated in an area of low pressure located a few hundred miles southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands that increased during the past several hours. The nearly sunlight, the raft wind data indicated this system does not yet have a well-defined center that is producing winds near the tropical force twin seas, and environmental conditions are expected to be conducive for additional development during the next day or two, and a tropical depression or tropical storm could form Before the end of the weekend, this is with the forecast to have northwest wind at 10-15 miles per hour for the weekend. Formation trend to 40 hours. Medium 60%. Formation trend to 5 days. Medium 60%. Disturbance number 2. A small low pressure system is expected by a large area of a non-tropical low and alpha shots and thunderstorm associated with a small low are short signs of organization. This system will soon move inland over Portugal and further tropical subtropical development. It's unlikely the lowest produces gale force winds and will likely to bring gusty winds and brief periods of heavy rain to portions of western Portugal today and tonight. For information about potential actions in Portugal, please see products issued by the Portuguese Institute of Sea and Atmosphere for more information about marine hazards associated with the system. See formation trend to 40 hours, low 20%. Formation trend to 5 days, low 20%. Post-tropical cyclone Paulette is located 700 miles northwest of the Azores, and the cyclone is forecast to move quickly southward over the next several days, and then stall over the marginally warm waters in a few hundred miles south of the southwest. By the end of the end of the weekend, the cyclone could subsequently redevelop tropical characters late this weekend or early next week while it moves a little. Formation trend to 40 hours, low 10%. Formation trend to 5 days, low 20%. Storms number 4, number 12 of the wave is forecasted to move off the west coast of Africa by early Saturday. Some gradual development in the system will be possible to be very after a while. It moves generally west-northwest over the far eastern Atlantic, and formation trend to 40 hours, low 0%. Formation trend to 5 days, low 20%. Okay, take a look at the forecast discussion. It'll be rain back to portion of the Cape Canaveral will come to an end later this morning. Otherwise, May southerly and unseasonably cold temperatures in the early next week, along with a track of Hurricane Teddy. Fortunately, it appears that Hurricane Teddy will track far up east of the region to just bring ice surf and minor coastal flood and minor beach erosion issues into the early next week. Temperatures will bring significantly in the middle of next week with dry, weather persists, and a little, if any, rainfall expected by the middle of the next week. Cold and blustery day for many locations with highs more typical mid-October, and clouds could detect for the coastal location. But today is remnants of suddenly passed away to our southeast. Smoke from western wildfires will likely clear with frontal passages, and if showers come across the Cape now will mainly come to the end later this morning. Then our attention turns to the season's first real taste of fall. At 10:30 MB, I will be building the New England from the Great Lakes, and pressure gradient will begin to tighten between the approach and eye and depart the lower associated with post-TC Sally, leading to a increasingly blustery conditions in area wide, but particularly over the eastern Massachusetts coast by mid to late morning hours. Non-Norwegian winds going to blow 20-25 miles per hour with gusts up to 35 miles per hour. This is an impressive cold, dry air mass with 500 millibars and 1,000 millibars and temperatures between 2.5 and 10 percentile according to NAEFS, and some situation will remain the same on near-term model guidance shows. It will likely take most of the morning to clear the low-level moisture, but by early afternoon, skies should clear from the northwest and southeast. But because of exact close trend the northeast skies fit to the animals cold air aloft. The normally near surface flow means that the cold Canadian air mass will not be modified by the relatively warm waters of the Great Lakes, which will have to be occurred when a northwesterly flow 850 millibar temperatures fall to 3 Celsius over the interior end of the 7 Celsius over the eastern mass of Rhode Island. By the evening hours, use a blend of NAM and west guidance to yield ice that are lower to middle 60s, which are 10 degrees below normal for more typical for mid-October, except to the low Connecticut River Valley, which could see a few locations reach the upper 60s with a northeast winds at 20-25 miles per hour. It will certainly be a shock to the system for the many and a reminder that winter is coming. Okay, forecast goes like this. Clouds skies for today, then gradually cover most of the sun sky about 62 degrees. Not for about 9 to 14 miles an hour for tonight. Most of the skies about 38 degrees and not for about 8 miles per hour. Wind gusts is 20 miles an hour for Saturday. Sun skies about 61 degrees, not for about 7 to 9 miles an hour. Gust is 20 miles per hour for Saturday night. Most of the skies about 36 degrees and cowboy coming to north around 6 miles an hour after midnight. For Sunday, sun skies about 58 degrees, not for about 7 to 10 miles an hour. Gust is 23 miles per hour first. Sunday night, Arizona, frost up to 4 a.m. Otherwise, most of the coast about 34 degrees, north east at about 5 to 7 miles per hour. For Monday, Arizona possible for 8 a.m. wise. Most of the sets come at 61 degrees, northeast about 8 to 10 miles per hour, gust at 20 miles an hour for Monday night. Most of the coast come at 37 degrees, north wind about 7 miles per hour for Tuesday. Most of the sets come at 66 or 51 degrees, and northwest wind about 8 to 10 miles per hour, with gusts at 23 miles per hour for Wednesday. Sets got about 76 or 54 degrees, west wind about 8 miles per hour, gusts at 20 miles an hour for Thursday. Sets got about 77 degrees, west wind about 3 to 6 miles per hour. Right now, London at 62 degrees, overcast skies. That's going to be for the Peter Channel Morning News on this Friday morning, September 18th, 2029. Peter J. Wiggins, hope you have a good morning. Goodbye, say to you. Stay safe, be positive, be healthy, be well. We'll hope you have a wonderful day in the morning.